and at the foyer. His office is right there. And you've been having your business now for
close to
18
20 years.
20 years. Yeah. He likes helping us, the average person. There's many times he helped people with offer and compromise with the IRS. Being that you were IRS agent, you were able to know how to converse, talk to the IRS agent, and that helps the person even more.
Yeah, I tell people, the IRS does have a heart at times. You just got to dig to find it.
Well, what about Mary? She was a professor at a college?
Yeah, nice woman. She was a retired school teacher, and she was just, part-time at a college. She had some tax issues where her husband had died right before April 15th, and she just had a block about she couldn't file her tax returns. So the IRS was going after her. She went to one of those firms that advertises on TV, and she paid them about $5,000, and they did nothing. She hadn't filed a return in approximately 10 years. And
what was the reason why she couldn't file her taxes for the last 10 years?
it was just because of her husband passing away. She just couldn't bring herself to do it.
So she suffered with a little bit of depression as a result of his death.
I think she had a diagnosis of situational depression. But I worked with her, and we filed the 10 years she hadn't filed. Some years she was due a refund, some years she owed. Unfortunately, because it was so long, she couldn't collect her refund, and she was hit with a lot of taxes and interest. And
didn't she? You showed her how to do the tax returns, and she was able to do the rest of the tax returns on her own.
Yes, she did it herself. The word basic. I reviewed it just to make sure they were correct, and they were. And when she went to this other firm, they wanted to file an offer and compromise for her, which is fine. But one of the main stipulations is, number one, you have to file your back taxes, which she didn't. And when talking with her, she mentioned that she owned her home without a mortgage. And I said, don't even bother with an offer and compromise, because I could tell the first thing they would say is, okay, take out an equity line on your home and pay us, which she did. Once we got through all of her filings with interest and penalties, she owed about $30,000. So, she went to the bank, and back then she got a home equity line for like a 0.5% interest. So she took a little bit extra so she can do some work on her house, which it desperately needed. We filed all 10 years returns. Then I just filed a letter to the IRS explaining how she was, and she didn't mean not to file. She just couldn't do it, but now she's done it, and I requested that they refund the penalties, and they did. So she called me up a few weeks later, and she goes, I don't know what to do. Every day I get a check from the IRS for about $1,000.
Well, what happened was also, I'd like to add to you, it was just before Thanksgiving. It was the holiday season. Mm-hmm. And she calls David up, and she says, David, I don't know what's going on. I keep getting checks from the IRS. And she got how much money did she get back? How much money the penalties were?
She got approximately $10,000 back. But the way the IRS did it, instead of sending her one lump sum, they did each year separately at a different date.
That was a nice Christmas gift for this woman. So she paid out $10,000.
Yep, she got the $10,000 back, and she was so happy she could do more work on her home, and she's been very happy since then. So that's why I said, if you're willing to work with the IRS, you do have to stand up to them and let them know that you're going to fight them. But you can they do have a heart. You just got to hunt for it.
Good, Dave. Good. What I did after I finished college, I became a paramedic. Did that for 6 years, and then went for my master's in exercise physiology, as you know. And I worked for corporations who had fitness centers in the company. So I did that. I worked at the YMCA in Darien. And while we were at Darien YMCA, I was very interested in children's health. Very interested. I looked at the children. They didn't have a lot of muscle. They were not athletically fit. And then there were also a lot of children who were overweight. So I decided to put together a script for a show, to do a television show and do a DVD. Back then it was videos, but today they're DVDs. And David, the name of the show was Kids Exercise with Arfie. Now Arfie was a dog, a standing upright dog. He was in it. My husband was Arfie. And we made it fun, as children always like to play with the dog. So my husband was Arfie in the show and did all the exercise program with all the children. And that was quite extraordinary what you did. It was a great event. David was a fantastic dog, excuse the pun, and he did a phenomenal job. We didn't make too many sales, but it was quite an experience putting together a professional video.
Yeah, it was fun being dressed in a dog suit with fur and a big head, dancing in front of the lights. It was very challenging and hot, but it was fun. It was worth it. It was a good time.
So we always remembered that we would like to one day get back into producing television shows. Okay. So after that, I even wrote a book, a personal trainer's exercise program, and it was about using aerobic equipment such as a treadmill, cross trainer, recumbent bike, upright bike. So I created programs that you could follow and with proper increments in your level of fitness. So you want always to keep exercising and challenging your body to be physically fit and hopefully stay physically healthy. I did that. And after those years, that come to an end, I too had my own business. It was called The Heart of Aerobics and Conditioning. And it was quite an experience. I worked with people in nursing homes, long-term healthcare facilities. And I taught exercise program. We used weights and bars for range of motion, weights to increase strength. And I would just have a good time with them. They loved exercising. Kept them, their arms and abilities strong so they could continue to be independent.
Yeah, it was fun. I went to help her working, at one of the nursing homes around the corner, and I had a great time. They're, very nice people, very happy to see us. Enjoyed working with them, a little exercise, handing out the weights. Very nice people, and she would do a nice relaxation episode after the exercises, which was nice. I would join it, and some of the senior citizens would be falling asleep, and so did I a couple of times.
Yeah, I would do therapeutic yoga for the residents and put them in a nice relaxed state. Dave really got relaxed, and he fell asleep.
Yep, a couple of times, but hey, I wasn't driving, so why not?
I'd rather not say this, but I'll be honest. There were 2 separate times where I fell asleep while teaching the class. The first time, the recreation director kept me from falling out of the chair. And after that, he put me in a chair where I couldn't fall out of, and I could fall asleep if I need to. And then the other time was sitting there and they're waiting for the next command, what to do. And I fell asleep sitting there. I didn't move. I was just sitting there. And one of the residents was so nice that she just coughed. And I woke up and I said, well, oh, yeah. Okay, let me continue. So I too had fallen asleep 2 separate times, and quite embarrassing. Put myself to sleep. And many of the residents it would be their time in the moment to have a quiet moment to themselves, listening to yoga music quietly and relaxing. In a nursing home, it is quite busy. Even at night when they're sleeping, they have lights on and nurses coming in and out, maybe giving medication or helping the residents as they need help. And so that you can understand it would be hard for them to really get some quiet time while sleeping. So when we did the class, therapeutic yoga, there wasn't very much sound. The lights were dim and relaxing, and he went into a nice, peaceful state of mind. And that was what I did in my business called The Heart of Aerobics and Conditioning. I gave up my business. Right, Dave?
Yep, you had to.
I gave up my business. After President Clinton stopped being our president, he started a foundation. That was going back in 2004, 2005, I think. And basically wasn't sure what he wanted to do with this foundation. So the foundation was geared for children, and I contacted him because I made a DVD and was concerned about children's health. We started, I said, you know, children are overweight, and at that time, which was about 10 years ago, the children would become ill. They would have adult medical concerns as a youth, 12-year-old, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, maybe even a little bit older. They would have high blood pressure, and some were leading into diabetes because they're overweight and not exercising. So I contacted the Clinton Foundation. I said, you know, the children, the parents are going to outlive their children because they're so overweight and lacking in exercise. And at that time, I wrote to him. And so President Clinton contacted me and said he was able to get soda out of the school system and replaced it with better items for them to drink, such as a lot of water and maybe other sodas that didn't have so much sugar and caffeine. So then that's where to start. I started interacting with President Clinton, sending him emails, giving him ideas on what needs to be addressed for his foundation. Well, over the years, I would donate money and really support the foundation. And Dave and I, the first time we went to a Clinton Foundation event was in New York City. We attended, and President Clinton was going to speak. So I said, we need to go there. So that was our first event that we did together pertaining to the Clinton Foundation.
Yep, he was a great man. It was incredible, just in a whole group of people. He comes out on stage, everybody's just in awe. He just had a presence about him.
Yes, he did
attracted
have a
everybody's
presence.
attention.
He sometimes answered my emails, but I just sent out my ideas. In southern Africa, I was watching a TV show, and the show was about paramedics in South Africa, and I was able to see their living situation. They didn't know how to fix the plumbing. They didn't know how to fix the elevators. They didn't know how to fix their houses as they needed to be fixed. They didn't know medicine. They didn't know how to help people, how to get their loved one to the hospital. So the paramedics frequently had to carry people down several flights of stairs because the elevator didn't work. And so I wrote to President Clinton, and I said, I saw a TV show about paramedics helping the people in South Africa, and I said their living condition is bad. They don't know how to help themselves to improve everything, all the living requirements, fresh water, fresh food, you know. The Clinton Foundation went in and helped them. The people went, taught them how to do plumbing, and maintain their homes. And that was the start of the foundation. Yeah. He knew what direction for his foundation to go in. And this was over a 10-year period. And I watched Secretary of State Hillary Clinton give a presentation. And she said she was talking from a college in South Africa. I was amazed. All that money that I donated went to a worthy cause. I was happy beyond what I can express. And then I knew that many people will be helped.
Yeah.
With his foundation, he went and helped people be able to provide food for the people in the village. And they helped them be able to get water. And one man says, a farmer says, I have food now where the stalks were 8 feet high. He says to President Clinton, I can't donate money to you, but I could give you a bushel load of seeds that you could give to someone else so they could provide food for the people in the village. That is so extraordinary,
Yes.
how grateful this man was to be able to feed the people in his community.
Yeah, he went by the old adage, you don't give a person food, but you teach them how to grow food to make them self-sufficient.
Yes.
That was the idea behind his foundation. He got a lot of good things done. A lot of the stuff he did basically just on his name. You know, if you're a business and you hear someone say, Bill Clinton's at your door and wants to speak to you, you let him in. If it was a nobody,
Yes.
they wouldn't do it. But just by his name, got him,
And his
the
presence.
doors open, and once he got the door open, he's done a lot of good for a lot of people in this world.
He did.
Yeah.
So I continue to interact and write emails. And in some of my emails, he did respond with a handwritten note. He signed his name, but his secretary wrote up the letter, and he mailed it to me. So I have my email and his response in some frames in my house. And I am really thankful that we have a man such as President Bill Clinton in our lives to help people create a better life for themselves and be independent. And then he took it a next step in such a way where the people could provide by selling items to other countries and then bring in money that way, be self-sufficient. So I was with the Clinton Foundation about 8 years now.
Yeah.
And the most exciting event was going to his birthday gala. It was his 65th birthday. And we were invited to attend his birthday gala. It was held in California, Hollywood, California. It was a quite amazing experience.
Yeah, it was a great day. A couple of days we spent out there.
We went to the event. There were, I'd say, 2,000 people, Dave.
Yeah.
And we all had meal. There were people who spoke, and some people were raising money for the foundation. And we just mingled with people and talked to people. And on that day, I talked to President Bill Clinton and thanked him for all his work that he had accomplished in the 8 years that I had known about the Clinton Foundation. And as you can see, I'm standing next to President Bill Clinton, and it is my husband that was taking the picture. And this is very meaningful to me. And
That was a very great day, you know. Karen had a little problem getting to see him. The Secret Service were a little protective, but a few people got in. And
Yes.
after we got done, I said, Karen, stop eating your dinner. When you come here, go get your picture taken with him. And we
Yes.
finally got around to see him. And the amazing thing was at his table, his wife was sitting there. And nobody went over to speak to her.
I did feel bad that I didn't have an opportunity to go and talk with her.
The way things are now, I sure wish I had gone over to talk to her and have my picture taken with her. So then we could each be with the president.
Yes, yes.
But maybe next time.
So with the Clinton Foundation, it was a very effective experience. It really helped me with talking to President Clinton through email. I became more comfortable with my ideas to expand the Clinton Foundation. And in those 8 to 10 years, President Clinton, his foundation raised $7 million for helping people in Africa, making their lives better. What was your experience like being at the birthday gala, Dave?
It was a great time, and we went to have a dinner with them, and just meeting and talking to so many wonderful people. Because anybody who you meet there, they feel the same way we do. And they're very super nice people. We were at his birthday gala for his birthday, and the next day we attended a concert. I think it was the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes.
It's a huge place, one outside concert, a lot of performers there. I know Stevie Wonder, U2 was there, and even Lady Gaga gave a little performance.
She did.
Yep, I'll never forget her,
She was
flirting with President Clinton, having a good time with it, claiming she was the new Marilyn Monroe type of thing.
Yes.
And it was just another great event that we were at.
Just last Monday, Dave and I went to an event with the Clinton Foundation. Dr. Chelsea Clinton, she now has a PhD, so we refer to her Dr. Chelsea Clinton, was there, along with the president of the foundation, Donna Shalala. And I talked with her, and it was a pleasure meeting her. And she took over the role of being the president of the Clinton Foundation so that Bill Clinton can go on the campaign trail with his wife, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Continuing, years ago, I was also a EMS commissioner for the town of Shelton. I did that for 7 years, and that was a very positive experience. It was able to help the ambulance to be a better company and more effective in treating people who are sick and injured. Today, Dave, here we are talking together, and we have our own television show. This television show is provided by the Comcast in Seymour, Connecticut, and it's a public access television show where there's no money exchanged. We don't get paid for this. This is all amateur type television show. And on this television show, we talk about many different topics, and we're open to all types of topics to discuss. And our friend, who is the coordinator of the show, Public Access, and her name is Melissa Leonard. She does a very good job and helped us so much in the year that we've been producing shows.
Yes, she is wonderful. She knows how to do things, and if you ever have a question, she's so quick to help you to make sure we do the best we can. I don't know how she has the patience to work with us, but she does great. She teaches us how to use the equipment, never gets upset, and is one of the nicest people you'll ever want to meet.
Yes, she taught us how to use the camera, set up the stage. She helped us editing. She showed us how to edit. You edit your own show, and burning DVDs to have them be put on Sunday night's show every week, Sunday night at 10 o'clock on the Public Access show. And we really find it enjoyable to create our own shows. And I do put them on YouTube if you ever want to watch the television shows. We did 52 shows, and we only repeated 2 shows the entire year.
Yeah, that's incredible. Her and Dorothy, they make it a point to get enough shows done. I'm usually behind the camera, not in front like this.
And with Reverend Dorothy and I, we co-host and co-produce the shows. And it's wonderful working with Dorothy. She brings in a lot to the table with knowledge and information. She is a reverend. She was one of the first women become ordained priest in the state of Connecticut. And a wonderful woman, and wish she was with us today, but she's a teacher and she's at school teaching class at this time. But she will be back shortly, and she will be providing television shows as well. Well, Dave, anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. As my job as a technical director, I have to say we have to start wrapping